Water, as the saying goes, is life, and as such, all plants and animals need water to survive. In order to address the challenges associated with the water sector in the country and to achieve Sustainable Development Goal number 6, that is to ensure access to clean water and sanitation for all, among other SDGs, the federal government, through Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, launched the Partnership for an Expanded Water, Sanitation and Hygiene Program, PWASH, in 2016. This is a component of the National Action Plan to turn around the water, sanitation and hygiene WASH sector. The Vice President at that time called on state and local governments to key into the PWASH initiative and commit to its success so that these common developmental goals can be achieved. The Minister of Water Resources, Suleiman Adamu, at that time also said that a purposeful synergy of all activities aimed at achieving access to potable water and increase in irrigation for all Nigerians, with special emphasis on the rural areas, would be expected. He also stressed that the primary goal of the program is to contribute to improvements in public health as well as the eradication of poverty in Nigeria. The pilot project started in 2 states of Ogun and Kano back in 2018, and the first phase of the initiative is now to start in an additional 10 states. Welcome to Nigeria Today. Stay with us as our guests will speak to the PWASH program in Nigeria. I am Dennis Adigunloye. And with me to discuss PWASH in Nigeria is Engineer Benson Ajishegiri, Director, Water Supply and Private Public Partnership at the Federal Ministry of Water Resources. You're very welcome to Nigeria Today.
Thank you very much.
And also joining us via Zoom from Ibadan is Adebayo Alao, the head of WASH Water Aid. You're also very welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. Good evening, listeners and viewers all over the country.
All right. So, okay, let me come to Engineer Benson first. Just elaborate a little more for us exactly this PWASH program and how it is intended to benefit particularly the rural areas and the country at large.
All right, thank you very much. The Partnership for Expanded Water Supply, Sanitation and Hygiene indeed is a very laudable initiative by the Honorable Minister of Water Resources, Engineer Suleiman Adamu, Fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. When he assumed office in November 2015, he saw the need to have a national program that will be an umbrella of all activities towards supplying water to the rural areas. Because before then, a lot of initiatives were going on, but there was no synergy in them. And then targets were at variance with one another. And in most cases, we see development partners going to the same areas to provide services to the people, while other areas are at a disadvantage. And so many things were happening that were not making us to move forward the way we are supposed to move. So the managing ministers then said, look, let's have a project or a program, a national program, that we have partnership at the center of it. And that led to the development and establishment of the Partnership for Expanded Water Supply, Sanitation and Hygiene. It is intended actually to rally all the efforts and supports from government, from development partners, from philanthropies, for NGOs and CSOs, so that we have a common front, a common direction that we are going towards meeting the Sustainable Development Goals 6.1 and 6.2 in 2030.
Sure.
The program was launched in November 2016 by His Excellency, the Vice President of the country. And we have targets. It was planned to be implemented in 3 phases. The first phase being the preparatory phase, was designed to be implemented in 2016 and 2018. And in most cases, this is for us to have advocacy, mobilization, and to test the program, and that has been done. At the end of the day, we were able to advocate the project and mobilize the entire states or the states of the country to the extent that 33 state governors have signed the program protocol with the Honorable Minister of Water Resources.
All right, I'll come back to you shortly. Let me go to Ibadan now, where our guest is joining us via Zoom, Adebayo Alao. If you are hearing me, Ogun and Kano states were the first to benefit from this project. How, in your assessment, would you say, how well has this worked in those states?
Well, thank you very much. First, I think I will note that the audio is not coming out very clearly to me, and so I'm not really getting you very well. But if I understand what you asked so far, what you asked, I think it has to do with the level of acceptance of the program, especially at the state level. I must say that the Federal Ministry of Water Resources is doing a very wonderful job. We appreciate the level of, the zeal and enthusiasm that is targeted at revitalizing the entire water sector in Nigeria. We have a minister that is very passionate about the sector. Like the director there said, we have a lot of things going on very well at the federal level. They are galvanizing, efforts to make sure that, states in particular, they key into this program. If this program is to be successful, the effort is not just going to be at the national level. It must also be, within the states. And like I've ever noted, at the national level, we have a lot of political will that is being, demonstrated.
All right, a little hitch there with our connection, but we'll certainly get that back sorted. All right, I understand Mr. Alao is back. Continue, sir.
At the state level. So, hello? Oh, okay. So we are looking forward towards the states, also embracing the program, and they'll be able to demonstrate that high level political will at the state level, so that as the federal is pushing, it is also happening at the state level. So, but talking about the P-Wash program, the pilot was very successful so far in Ogun State and Kano. And we now enter into another phase where about 10 other states, to partake in the next phase of the program. So we are looking forward to what these states also exhibit, is actually executed good results. Thank you very much for now.
All right, thanks for that. Also, coming back to you, Engineer Benson. As he said, this initiative is going to be rolled out to 10 further states, being Imo, Katsina, Jigawa, Plateau, Zamfara, Sokoto, yes, Ondo, Osun, Delta, and Bauchi. Just give us an idea of what the selection criteria has been in this regard.
All right, thank you very much. Indeed, the invitation for all the states to participate was sent to all the 36 states of the country. But the 10 states that are participating now were carefully selected based on self-select criteria, I would say. Mm-hmm. And this criteria brought us on number one, there must be political will, which must be demonstrated by signing the protocol with the Honorable Minister of Water Resources. That is the first point. And it must be signed by no other person than the governor of the state. In this case, we have had 33 state governors that have signed the P-Wash protocol with the minister. Mm-hmm. The second part, which many states have not done very well, has to do with knowing the situation of water supply in all your local governments. That means you must have the baseline survey. And then you must categorize your local government according to the needs, you know, and then you make some submission. And then you also include the kind of facilities that we want to use to support or to service your people at different communities. And then that holistic survey report will be submitted to the Federal Ministry of Water Resources. The third part of it has to do with organization. You must also have a good organization, because at the federal level, we have what we call P-WASH team. We have a whole, you know, structure, you know, for it. This has to be replicated by the state, and you must give indication. You must talk about who is heading it, who are the people that are working in it. That's the third part. Then the fourth part has to do with commitment of fund. That means you must include it in your budget. For example, 2020 budget must carry, you know, a subhead for P-WASH. And not only that, you must allocate money to it, and you must also release money. So with these 4 basic criteria, we have been able to select the 10 states that we are moving into the phase 2 of the project.
And these criteria is what make up the protocols?
This is what make up the protocols, you know, for the...
All right, what would you say are the current levels of access to potable water supply in all the local government areas of the 10 states, especially the rural areas?
Well, in the program is designed in such that we categorize local governments according to level of service, such that those that are worse in the case of service are the ones that we pick first, or those that have waterborne diseases, diarrhea and whatever, cholera and all those stuff, are the ones that have to be first served. And then we divide the number of local governments into 2, such that the federal government, through the Federal Ministry of Water Resources, will take 50%, the state will take the balance of 50%. And the program is so designed such that you have to satisfy the needs of one local government before you move to the other, because we don't want to go back to them. We want to provide the services, give them the infrastructure, organize them so that they can run the schemes on their own, and then satisfy their wash needs before you move to the other. And this is where we are now, and this is what we're going to do for these 10 states. In the 10 states, we have selected 56 local governments. 28 are to be done by the federal government, while the balance of 28 are to be done by the 10 states on their own. What we have done today was the new minister flagging off, you know, the commencement of execution of works in these 28 local governments to be touched by the federal component.
All right. Okay, thanks for that explanation. We'll continue discussions shortly. The program is Nigeria Today, and we're discussing the progress so far of the P-WASH program in Nigeria. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
The number of the COVID-19 cases in Nigeria is increasing daily, with many more tests ongoing. The battle of testing, isolating, treating, and attending to the affected persons rests heavily on the shoulders of our health workers, constantly putting their lives on the line and at risk to contain this virus, save and protect the lives of millions of Nigerians. To these health workers, we at the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, on behalf of millions of Nigerians, say a big thank you for all that you have done and are doing. To the security agencies enforcing the lockdown and every other frontliner, we say thank you for putting your lives on the line to save ours. There is no amount of words that can quantify our gratitude. Thank you. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Africa's largest television network.
All right, you're welcome back. The program is Nigeria Today, and our topic is the P-WASH program, as it's how far it has gone in the country. And our guests are engineer Benson Ajishegiri, Director of Water Supply and Private Public Partnership at the Ministry of Water Resources, and via Zoom from Ibadan is Adebayo Alao, the head of Wash Water Aid. I'll come back to you now, Mr. Alao. Just give us an idea of how the water, or what is the level of implementation of the water supply, sanitation and hygiene program in your...
Yeah, thank you very much. The program is going on very well. And like I noted earlier, at the national level, a lot of zeal and enthusiasm is being demonstrated at the national level. We, as an international non-governmental organization, we are not only working with the Federal Ministry of Water Resources, we also working with states to ensure that the plan goes on accordingly. Part of what we do is supporting states in order to support them to be able to meet the criteria that the Federal Ministry of Water Resources is looking for in order to participate in this program, very laudable program. The director mentioned there a number of criteria that states must meet in order to participate in this program. So this is part of the things that we as organization do to states. Right now we are supporting Bauchi states. We are also supporting Enugu states. One critical area that is very important to this process is the policy environment. The director mentioned that there must be a plan. And part of the things to do when you plan is to have a policy direction. We discovered that in this sector, policy direction, especially at the state level, is actually lacking. So what we do is to support the states, to be able to develop their wash policy, which is giving direction to the entire sector in terms of where do you want us to be at so time. We have a terminal date of the SDG for 2030. Our own mission is everyone, everywhere by 2030. That is to say that everyone in Nigeria, anywhere you are, by the year 2030, we want you to have access to water and sanitation and good hygiene practices. So this must be inculcated, in the plans of the states. And one of the things to do that is to actually fashion out a very workable policy environment. That will give you, direction of where you are going to and where you want to be even by the year 2030, so that you can, meet the target. Not only that, we open up the space. We support the state's wash sector to open up the states in terms of service delivery, so that other actors, particularly the private sector, can have the opportunity of coming into the space to improve service delivery. So, but of course, for private sector to come in, the environment must be made viable for them because they want to see it as a business. So if they're bringing investment into the sector, what's going to be their returns on investment? Now, the policy environment must, clear all of that. So it must be, it must be made, look good for the private sector to be able to come in. Yes, of course, we have some private sector that are using part of their corporate social responsibility funds, to do some of these interventions in the wash sector. But again, that really is not enough because the challenges in the service in service delivery for water and sanitation is very huge. So we are looking towards opening up the space for private sector participation. We want to see services being improved because private sectors are being allowed to come and deliver services. So part of what we do is to partner with the state to make sure that all these are made right, with the environment for participation to improve service delivery. Thank you.
Engineer Benson, according to the WASH National Outcome Routine mappings, how much progress would you say has been made in access to water and sanitation?
All right, thank you very much. Indeed, the target is for us to have 100% access water supply, sanitation, and hygiene by year 2030. If we're going to do this, we need to constantly track the progress that we are making. And this made us to launch what we call WASH National Outcome Routine Mapping, which is a survey that we carry out on a yearly basis. That survey is being led by National Bureau of Statistics. The first one was launched in 2018. During that period, we saw that the access, what we could call access to water supply, at that time was for 68%. That means 68% of the people living in Nigeria have access to water supply, and I think about 38% have access to sanitation. We did that survey again for 2019. We saw that the figure has slightly improved. We now have about 70% of Nigeria, people living in Nigeria, that we can classify to have access to water supply, and about 44% of those living have access to sanitation, adequate sanitation facilities. Is an improvement, but it is not in the step that we want it to be. We want it to be rapid, and the reason for this slow speed that we're making is because the state governments are not putting enough emphasis on issue of wash at the state level. Yeah. And that is what BioAllow has just said, that we want to see states doing more on wash activities. And that is the essence of the P-Wash that was launched by the federal government. So P-Wash is to rally this support, because it is the responsibility of the state government in the first place to provide access to service for the people. That means to make wash services available to the people. And then local government are to look after the rural areas. But when the statistic came out, it wasn't looking good. And that is why federal government said, let me come in, let me support you. And we launched the P-Wash program. We're providing services, we're supporting. We even put some incentives that if you do 50%, we will do 50% to support and to make sure that we progress, as much as we want it to be. The other issue has been the issue of open defecation, which is part of the statistics that came out of the WASH norm. I'm happy to announce that we used to have about almost 25%, but in this last statistics, it has reduced to 23%, meaning that we are making good strides.
Good progress.
Good progress, yes.
All right. Let me come back to Mr. Alao now. In the era of this coronavirus pandemic, water is one of the major instruments to fighting the scourge, and with no seeming end in sight in this pandemic, no doubt this program has become all the more urgent. Just give us your final remarks on this point.
So
let me come to you again. Can you hear me?
Your last line, the network is really challenging.
All right. Basically, in this coronavirus pandemic, water is certainly a major instrument in fighting the scourge, and seemingly no end in sight to this pandemic. How this no doubt has become an all the more urgent initiative. Just give us your thoughts on that briefly. More urgent this program has become?
Well, I didn't get your question, but if you can hear me, I guess you are talking about something like this period of COVID-19.
Correct.
Maybe the importance of water, sanitation, and hygiene at this period.
Yeah.
How important it is, and I guess yes, you are right. This is a period that we need to take the issue of hygiene very seriously in the country. Of course, we know that, hand washing with soap and very best hygiene practice are the first line of defense for disease infestation or contracting disease. So this period, of course, attention is water being made available. But you see, you asked the question that even before COVID-19, we didn't have water. So why is it, how will we have water at this stage that is very critical? Now, this is part of the things that we have been supporting and we have been advocating to government, both at the national and state level, to actually prioritize the issue of WASH, that the WASH agenda should be prioritized by states. In this period of COVID-19, we have just, with some other development partners, supported the Federal Ministry of Water Resources to develop the COVID-19 WASH response guideline, in order to guide the states on what they need.
All right. At BioAllow, sorry, our line just cut there, but we got your point there, head of Wash Water Aid. Just very briefly, in 10 seconds, just give us your thoughts on that point in this coronavirus.
Yeah, thank you very much. Indeed, you know that water is very important to fighting coronavirus pandemic. And the ministry, under the able leadership of the Honorable Minister, has taken both steps in that regard. Shortly after declaring the pandemic worldwide, the minister came up and said we need to develop a proposal that will enable us to respond appropriately to the needs of water to fight the pandemic.
Sure.
So that proposal was developed. It was submitted to the Minister of Finance, was brought to the National Assembly, and it has been approved. And that led to establishment of the National Wash Sector COVID-19 Response Team, which the minister is sharing himself, and he has all the commissioners. And then we have so many other activities, just like the guideline that he mentioned that has been developed. We have also prepared some infrastructure, which we are going to launch very soon, that will give access rapidly to the people in the public areas.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Benson Ajishegiri, thanks, Director, Water Supply and Private Public Partnership at the Ministry of Water Resources. Thanks for giving us your
Thank you very much.
Thanks again to Adebayo Alao, Head of Wash Water Aid. Thanks for your thoughts as well. And thanks to you out there for watching. And remember, Nigeria Today airs every weekday at 7:30 p.m. And we can watch this edition on YouTube and others on youtube.com, NTA News 24, Hub, and Dennis at David Lloyd. Thanks for watching.